Please remove Lemisa. This is the last segment of Let's Have It Out. I'm going to go back to Nikki and talk about the passion that she was mentioning before, that what we do mostly as NPOs is about passion. It's about what we found as something that needs or necessitate us to change something within our environment or our society. Now, Nikki, please tell me, how are you doing in terms of funding, and what are some of the challenges that your NPO has faced over the years?
Over the years, obviously the first challenge was funding. And the second challenge, I think, back then was aligning our theory of change to our value proposition. So we would go to these corporate, obviously send our proposal to these corporate organizations, but then our value proposition and our theory of change was not aligned. Okay. So those were the challenges, and also getting the right people. You know, because we are an NPO and obviously venturing into a social enterprise, we are struggling to find the right people that have the same passion that we have, obviously at a lower rate. Yeah. Because I hate using people and not paying them.
Not getting them. Yeah. Hold that thought. We have Lemisa is in Rodiport. Hello, Lemisa. Lemisa.
Evening, how are you?
I'm okay, and yourself?
I'm good.
Awesome. Let's get to the question.
Yes, I'd like to say the biggest challenge in the NPO sector is not necessarily funding. The biggest challenge is capacity. Mm-hmm. How do you account for government funding? Is the organization capacitated enough to sustain itself? And I think it's very important that non-profit organizations understand their constitution. What does our constitution say? If members are not active, mm-hmm. What does the Constitution say? And I think it's very important that people start to know the difference between an NPO and a business. A business, yes. Private business, you make profit. An NPO, the money that the NPO is using to fundraise should be the money that is used to sustain the organization.
Lemisa, I got that. Nikki.
That's so true.
What do you say? Do you have anything to add? Yeah.
I fully agree. That's why we moved from being as an NPO, like I said, because we struggle to find people that have the same passion that we have, that share the same passion. So we are now a social enterprise. But I totally agree with Lemisa. If one of the members on the board members is not active, it creates a lot of problems. You know, it strains the whole team. So I totally agree.
Are you saying that our organization, the Young Men Movement, should start moving from being an NPO into a social enterprise? I
think a lot of, in my opinion, personal opinion, and also from what I've learned this year, because as I mentioned that I've enrolled at a business school and I'm empowering myself, I think we should do that. I think we should rather refrain from relying solely on donors and start, being, even if it's 80% donor funded and 20% of the funds coming directly from the NGO, from the social enterprise. So I think that's why we need to look at, because I know an organization that was doing exceptionally well, and unfortunately one of their biggest donors pulled out and they had to close their doors.
But what was the reason for pulling out?
It was one of the governmental, I won't mention names, so it was one of the government organizations, and when issues that happened last year evolved, and that organization unfortunately didn't have funds anymore, and they had to sort of cut.
I believe that we also need to rework around how NPOs are presented, to it be the government, it be to our to businesses, private businesses, whereby funding is concerned. I don't think we should just throw in the towel and say that let's all move into social enterprises, change the whole thing and move away, because there are companies, I believe that there are companies out there that are willing to sponsor and be donors to you know, to to grow our NPOs, gift of the givers. Look at those ones.
Absolutely.
I mean, they're thriving.
I'm not saying that they aren't, but what I'm saying is that we just need to stop relying solely on donor funding. Hence, I said even if it's 80% donor funded, your NPO is 80% donor funded, and the rest of the 20% comes directly from something that you do within the organization. Be it if you are running an organization that does that donates books, for example, to young people in the townships, at least maybe have some sort of money or revenue that comes in that is not from the donor, so that you could be sustainable.
What about that narrative? You black NGOs, you just use money for your own personal things. It looks like there's a stigma around what we do. It's not necessarily a case of us not going out and presenting our business as well, but it looks like that we are stigmatized for just being black NPOs. People look at us and they're thinking, we're going to see Kabelo now driving a big car in the villages, all this money coming from that. As if I see that people are somehow scared to give money to NPOs, probably because they're thinking that we're using that money for our own benefit, for our own personal enhancement. Is that true?
People, you mean corporates?
Corporates, yes.
Sure. That's a difficult one because I think it boils down to what the point that we made earlier, to say that if you go and present an idea, you know, it won't work. They won't consider that because they need to see what you have done. So if they see that you have roll out roll out the idea for like 16 months or 12 months, and it has been working, at least you have done something. So they will be able to trust you. So we need to start rebuilding that trust.
Okay. And that's it for Let's Have It Out edition for tonight. Keep the conversation going on social media. You can use the hashtag LHIO. And that's it. Good night.